That man was into some real kinky stuff, you know? I mean, he was into external communications. Somewhere along the line, Abby turned on that whole commercial scene. He couldn't take working with those overpaid, insecure Hollywood wannabes. And internal communications, hey, forget about it. It was either lame instructional videos for employees who can't remember which way is up, even worse, some touchy-feely crap about sensitivity training. Not that I got a problem with that touchy-feely stuff, you know. But he was looking for that kind of cheap thrills only external communications could offer. And as far as the money was concerned, what? With the proliferation of all those soft porn channels, you know, like CNN and CNBC, who could blame him? Who could blame him? Could you blame him? Who could blame him? Abby had a gift. And you know what? I had the equipment. And boy, did we turn out some classics in external communications. Abby does long distance. The dial tone in Miss Jones. And who could forget about that classic? The tightest little package in the packing business. Hey, yeah, baby. Those were some hot flicks. But I guess the thrill left as quickly as it had come for Abby. And I ain't seen him since. Tell you though, the man was a genius, you know? Put a little Vaseline on the lens and in a few other strategic places, and we'd have ourselves an ITVA award winner. Hey, he was a giant in the industry. Oh, okay. So, not exactly a giant, but he's still pretty damn talented. At least, that's what I think.
1998 will be forever known as the year that records were broken. However, in 1993, ITVA's chronic loser, Abbey Rolls, began his chase after one of television's most elusive records.
Oh, Abby. He was the first writer to introduce adult themes and language into the corporate world. He broke all the rules. Hell, I'd like to see those two pretty boys who wrote Good Will Hunting write as emotional and honest a script about unsanitary conditions in the workplace. Butch, I'm going to have to shut you down. This meat isn't fit to be a corn dog.
No. Meat is fine.
No. You. This is what comes from not keeping your place clean. Oh, and for the love of God, go somewhere and put on some clothes. Huh?
Remember to always wear clothes when handling meat products.
Ab is to the business community what Michael Flatley is to the dance world. An innovator, the lord of the corporate video. You know, Abby was the first one to incorporate urban life into the corporate world.
Yo, I want to send out my love vibes to my posse and thank you all for getting jiggy with it and making fourth quarter profits so fat. Word up and profits too.
Master Charge. Believers that Lucci's record will be caught, and then some.
Abby hired me to be his receptionist when he decided to open his own business in '94. He'd given up script writing because he said he'd found his calling. Abby decided to become a music composer. Problem was, the business wasn't doing real well. I mean, he'd come out of that room every day acting like he'd spent all day creating beautiful music. Maybe he was hearing something completely different. But to me, it just seemed like the same thing, over and over and over. And of course, no one wanted to hire him to compose for them when that's all they heard. So the bills weren't getting paid, and the repo guys kept coming in and taking our furniture away.
"1994, the year of the original score. Poor unlucky Abby. It's a pity it wasn't his calling after all."
Well, at least you'll have to admit the Olympics will be a good thing for Atlanta.
Yeah, all the freelancers are going to be jammed up with work. It's going to be great.
Yeah, for 2 weeks, everybody's going to make the big bucks.
But it's just over a year away. I mean, how will Atlanta ever be ready?
Yeah, and have you heard about the traffic? Man, it's going to be gridlocked 24 hours a day. You won't even be able to get to work. The whole city's just going to shut down.
Well, at least moving around town freely is not going to be our problem, huh?
Yeah, let's not get pessimistic. Well, remember, we were only following orders under his direction. We didn't do anything wrong.
You know, my big question is, how could he get the directing job in the first place? He must have made a good impression with someone on the Olympic Committee. Yeah. But how?
Yeah, I don't know. But, I'll have to admit, I did think some of his ideas were, clever.
Yeah.
Like when he got the Olympic rings and he morphed them into onion rings. I thought that was kind of, different.
But John, you don't go messing around with the Olympic symbols like that.
I did think it was kind of funny when he called Izzy a blue maggot.
Yeah, actually, I think his terms were flatulent blue maggot.
Where is Abby anyway?
I don't know. Last I heard, they were still looking for him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. Look what I ripped off from the post office bulletin board. It's Abby's wanted poster.
Yep, that's Abby, all right. Look at that.
Yeah, I guess by now everybody in Atlanta knows what he looks like. And that phrase he kept repeating,
Yeah, what was up with that? He kept saying that one day he was going to show the world. Show the world what?
I don't know. He always said that. He always said the 96 Olympics are going to be a blast, whatever that meant.
What a weird guy. Whatever made him think he could direct?
Whatever made us trust his direction.
He was always trying to change things. He even wanted me to get a haircut. Doesn't he know nobody touches John Atwood's hair?
Yeah. Yes. You know what else?
What?
He wanted me to grow a beard.
No.
You want a beard? Get Chandler. I mean, he's not working these days anyway, right? I got a lot of money invested in this face. Those trips to Aruba are not cheap. Nobody messes with covering up Dick Klinger's tan either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I guess he thought I was perfect.
Will the defendants please enter the courtroom?
This is not going to look good on my resume.
Yeah. Wish our pal Abby was here with us now. Skipping town and leaving us holding the bag for his charges.
I mean, can you imagine? Copyright infringement, defamation of character.
Yeah, and let's not forget assault and battery on a stuffed Olympic mascot.
Maybe Abby Rose could finally direct us out of this whole mess.
Yeah.
I remember back in '96 during the Olympics when Abby, just like everybody else, was dreaming of making a fortune. So anyway, he's over at one of his cheapo clients, Belchfire Industries. And the top guy's waving Abby's budget around, saying, Abby, I'm sure you can find plenty of out-of-work
actors who wouldn't charge us these outrageous fees, Rolls. This is an Olympic year. I want feeling. I want patriotism. I want something that the employees at Belchfire will remember forever.
Abby's in my office scrambling to come up with talent for this Belchfire video when his Nana calls.
Abby, my little bubby, I made my special kugel for dinner and I got the new Barbra Streisand CD for you. But how can you say no to me? After I went through all that trouble, you need a good patch and tuckers.
So finally, the guilt kicks in, and he agrees to go see his Nana for a few minutes at the home. I thought we were going to be up all night trying to find seasoned actors to work for peanuts. The next thing I know, he's calling me saying, I've got great news.
Belchfire's Industry Olympic Video Audition, take one, camera roll 63, marker.
God bless America. God bless America. Stand beside her and give her. And then, I don't know.
God bless America.
Land that I love. From the mountain to the prairie, right? Through the ocean, white with foam.
God bless America, my home, sweet home. It won't work.
sweatshops, a distant memory for most Americans, but for some, a reality that still exists today.
Nobody could crack that story. They wouldn't talk. I tried. What'd I get? Nothing. Abby goes in the same day, gets the same runaround.
Sweatshops? I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure, they sweat, but it's an honest sweat for an honest day's pay.
Nice try, son. You'll need to get up much earlier than this.
But somehow, Abby nailed him. They cracked. Boy, did they crack.
When the executives finally admitted to it. Brilliant. I don't say that lightly. It was brilliant.
But it was more than that. It was like these hard-boiled executives were seeing the evidence for the very first time. It was a confession. It was a breakdown.
It was powerful. You don't forget a moment like that.
Good grief, man.
I give up. I give up.
What have I done? How did it get this far? The horror.
How do you respond to...
Somebody please help me.
If you ever worked with Abby, you'll never forget it. He had an interview style I've never seen. He'd take his pants off, cover himself with a card, and when he was ready for a reaction, he would pull that card out of the way, and he got a reaction right. I'll never forget it. I got some of the footage from the old sweatshop. You want to see it?
And fiscal financial data shows...
Good grief, man. You're not wearing any pants. What have I done? How did it get this far? The horror.
I give up. I give up. How do you respond to... He's naked. He's naked.
Somebody please help me.
After almost 20 years of struggle, his hopes dashed, his career in tatters, Abby finally hit bottom, willing to take work wherever he could find it. Then one day he received a mysterious phone call to report for a job, with no questions asked, in a secluded production facility that no one had ever heard of, where he was given the assignment of producing dramatic recreations for commercial television. However, it wasn't long before Abby noticed that his productions often appeared on newscasts and weren't necessarily identified as dramatic recreations. Only the obscenely high salary he received compensated for his vow of silence, until one night.
So, you're telling me it was all part of some, alien plan?
If you look closely, Mr. President, over at the grassy knoll, you'll see a couple of them standing next to Jimmy Hoffa.
That's, incredible, Elvis. I guess it was a good thing we really made you a special agent. Don't you think so, J. Edgar?
The public relations ploy was the perfect cover, Mr. President.
By the way, J. Edgar, I must say, that skirt is, quite becoming.
Oh, this old thing? Actually, I think it makes me look fat.
No.
Well, Mr. President, I feel strongly we must make this uncut version of the film public. The people have a right to know.
Gentlemen, I'm afraid we can't let that happen. In fact, I'm afraid that none of you should have seen this. I'm afraid you shouldn't have seen it either, Abby.
As for what happened to Abby after that night, no one is really sure. Only that after 20 years of being a figure of legend and myth within the Atlanta ITVA, his very existence seems to have been erased.
Hello? Are we on? Hello? Yes, I can. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. And I want to thank everyone who made this award possible. I can't tell you what it means to me. After so long, well, it just makes it all worthwhile. I know everyone is ready to go home by now. I always was. Geez, it seems like these award shows just go on forever. You sit there for hours, waiting for them to call your name, but they never do. Meanwhile, some lucky bozo stands up there with his award, going on, blah, blah, blah. I just want to thank so-and-so. And it wouldn't have been possible without the help and encouragement of yada, yada, yada. Don't you wish, for once, they just say, thanks, and get off already? But no, on they go. Meanwhile, your butt's getting sore, and the 2 free drinks they give you wore off a long time ago. Sorry. Anyway, what I really wanted to say is, my father? No, that was a Secret Service agent kind of guy.
Edna, where's the TV tray?
Anyway,
You can't use it now, Herschel. The TV people are using it for
What
that
I
little
really want-
TV thing they use. What do they call it, Abby?
What do I care? I'm watching TV. I've got a sandwich. I want my TV tray.
Herschel, get out of the way. You're embarrassing Abby.
I don't believe this.
Me? 20 years and he's still living with us? Now that's embarrassing.
Hello? Hello out there. Thank you so much for giving my Abby this award. He's worked so hard.
He's an idiot.
Tom? Could you just roll the credits, please?